How's it going, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be talking about magazine extensions, magazine base pads, and these conversion kits that people are wondering if they can go online right now and purchase them in anticipation of the potentially upcoming new Freedom Week. So let's talk about that. So real quick before we jump into this video, if you think that magazine capacity laws like the ones we have in the state of California are unconstitutional and violate the Second Amendment, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I also want to give a shout out to one of the main sponsors of the channel, Franklin Armory. Many of you are familiar with Franklin Armory. They have 3 California compliant AR pistols that you can currently go out, purchase. They're on the DRO system and you can purchase them from Franklin Armory. Franklin Armory also has a lot of lawsuits going against the California Department of Justice because of the California Department of Justice actions against banning the possession and sale of Title I firearms, which are being produced by Franklin Armory. So Franklin Armory is just a great company. They really understand what we're going through here in the state of California, and they really try to put out products to us so that we can still exercise our Second Amendment rights here in the state that is trying to oppress us. So as many of you are aware, recently a 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit issued a ruling in the Duncan v. Becerra case. Now the Duncan v. Becerra case dealt with the large capacity magazine ban here in the state of California and dealt specifically with California Penal Code 32310. California Penal Code 32310 has multiple subsections in it that prohibit the importation, sale, manufacturing, buying, possession, and has a lot of penalties attached with the possession and importing all of that of large capacity magazines. Large capacity magazines is a legal definition here in the state of California, so don't get up in arms if you're watching this from out of state. That is a legal definition. That's why I'm using it. I don't agree with the laws here in the state of California, but for the purposes of talking about all the legalese, we have to use the legal definition so everybody understands. So the legal definition of a large capacity magazine is any magazine that holds more than 10 rounds. I don't agree with that, but that's just what California says. So after that decision, there was a lot of confusion about people who thought that they could currently go out, purchase magazines that were more than 10 rounds from manufacturers. A lot of manufacturers were actually going out and selling these to individuals. And then once they actually read the ruling by the Ninth Circuit, looked at all the legal procedures, realized that the stay from the lower court was still in effect. They put a halt on all those sales. They put a halt on shipping all those orders. Some of companies actually could not stop all the orders getting shipped out, so some orders still got shipped out. And even some companies really had some buffoon actions where they pretty much doxed all the individuals who went out and purchased those large capacity magazines during all the confusion. But that's for another video. But there's been a lot of confusion since this Ninth Circuit ruling has come out. And one of the questions I'm getting asked a lot has to do with people asking if they can go out, purchase magazine extension kits, purchase base plates that could, be attached to magazines and make the round count more than 10 rounds. Can they go out and purchase those in anticipation of the stay being lifted so that they convert their magazines? So when it comes to magazine extensions and these kits that you can buy, the base plates to extend the magazine round count, that is covered by a completely different penal code here in the state of California. And it's the very next penal code. It is California Penal Code 32311. So when you look at California Penal Code 3211, what it says is pretty much that any person in the state who knowingly manufactures or causes to be manufactured, imports into the state, keeps for sale or possesses, offers for sale, or who gives, lends, buys, or receives any large capacity magazine conversion kit is punishable by a fine of not more than $1,000 or imprisonment in county jail not to exceed 6 months, or by both that fine and imprisonment. The section does not apply to fully assembled large capacity magazines, which is governed by section 32310, which 32310 is what was specifically addressed in Duncan v. Becerra. So what it's talking about is these are 2 very distinct things. California Penal Code 32310 covers the magazines themselves, which, in their nature are more than 10 rounds. 32311 deals with conversion kits that can be put on a magazine to make them more than 10 rounds. And when you look at the next section, subdivision B, it says, for the purposes of this section, a large capacity magazine conversion kit is a device or combination of parts of a fully functioning large capacity magazine, including but not limited to the body, spring, follower, and floor plate or end plate capable of converting any ammunition feeding device into a large capacity magazine. So they are probably what you are commonly aware of as these conversion kits, these base plates that you can add onto a magazine to extend the round capability of the magazine. So the answer to whether if you can currently go out right now and purchase online magazine extensions, magazine base plates in anticipation of Freedom Week, the answer is no. California Penal Code 32311 deals specifically with your ability to go out and buy these magazine extension or conversion kits, as California calls them. Under this penal code, it is illegal for you to go out and buy those. It is also illegal for a manufacturer outside of the state of California to sell them to you or to import them into the state of California. Now, the next question I've been getting in regards to these extension kits is, what effect will Duncan v. Becerra's decision have on these magazine conversion kits that California says that you cannot go out and buy and purchase? So as I mentioned, Duncan v. Becerra dealt primarily with California Penal Code 32310, which has to do with those large capacity magazines, the more than 10 rounds of magazines, but the magazines themselves, not necessarily the conversions kits. So when you read through the Duncan v. Becerra decision, they don't address California Penal Code 32311 at all. But the issue with California Penal Code 32311, which is very evident in the same situation in California Penal Code 32310, is that this definition of large capacity magazines, or restricting the magazine capacity here in the state of California. And what they said, the three-judge panel said in Duncan v. Becerra, is that any limitation on magazine capacity is expressly unconstitutional. It violates the Second Amendment, it hits at the core of what the Second Amendment is intended to cover, and is subject to strict scrutiny. So although Duncan v. Becerra did not deal directly with magazine conversion kits, it did address pretty much the same themes that will be probably carried over into California Penal Code 311, and any sort of penal code here in the state of California that directly touches on limiting magazine capacity will probably be found unconstitutional as well, just like California Penal Code 32310 was found in Duncan v. Becerra. So what will exactly happen if Judge Benitez lifts his stay, or if the three-judge panel's decision in Duncan v. Becerra is upheld or is not even challenged, or let's say it goes to the Supreme Court and the decision is upheld? What will happen then? Like we saw in Freedom Week 1, there was a lot of people who went out and purchased magazines that had, base plates on them and extensions on them. Will that necessarily change your ability to go out and purchase these conversion kits? California Penal Code 32311 is a very separate penal code from 32310. But what's going to happen is, if this decision in Duncan v. Becerra is upheld, it's pretty much going to unravel any penal code that deals with magazine capacity restrictions. So any penal code like this one that restricts magazine capacity either through a conversion kit, the magazine itself, whatever it is, that's pretty much going to be unraveled if this decision is upheld. I know during the first Freedom Week, there was a lot of people who went out, and there was a lot of companies who actually did go out and sell these conversion kits to people, or people use these conversion kits to manufacture or pretty much modify their magazines to make them large capacity magazines. And whether that will be legal during this period, that all depends on what happens when the stay is lifted, what the order of the Ninth Circuit will be in their mandate to the lower courts, what exactly all that will look like. We don't know. I can't anticipate for you. Anyone who anticipates or is saying that they know exactly what's going to happen with the Ninth Circuit, the stay, as far as magazine capacity and all this, they're pretty much lying. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. But for you guys who are asking specifically about magazine extension kits, base pads, stuff like that, can you go out and purchase them right now in anticipation of Freedom Week and the potential lifting of the stay? The answer is no. Under California Penal Code 32311, it is still illegal for you to go out and buy these types of conversion kits. So I wanted to answer this question because I know a lot of you guys are really anticipating what is going on with the Duncan v. Becerra case. You're really anticipating being able to get your hands on magazines by this ruling, hoping that the stay will be lifted. The Attorney General's office has until the 28th to actually seek an en banc panel review. If they don't do that, then the Ninth Circuit can issue their mandate 7 days after that, and they will mandate whether the lower court judge, Judge Benitez, needs to lift the stay. Whatever their mandate is, they will give their mandate if the AG's office does not seek the en banc panel review. But what I want to tell you guys is, don't get yourself in trouble anticipating something that might happen. We don't really know what's going to happen with this recent Duncan v. Becerra ruling. We don't know what's going to happen with the stay. So don't get yourself in legal issues going out anticipating trying to buy conversion kits, hoping that you can add them to your magazines if the stay is lifted. Kind of defeats the purpose if you're going to get yourself in legal trouble anticipating being able to do something legally down the road. So if you have any questions about this or magazine capacity or the Duncan v. Becerra or any of that that's been going on recently, go ahead and drop a comment and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. Keep in mind, although I am a licensed and practicing attorney in the state of California, I am not your attorney. This is not legal advice, but I will try to help and guide you guys as best as I can. But just keep in mind, it is not legal advice. If you'd like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to join the Patreon, and I'll put a link down to the Patreon page down below, as well as just like, commenting, subscribing, and make sure you hit the notification bell, because all of that helps the channel analytics and helps us spread the word about the Second Amendment and the issues we have here in the state of California in regards to the Second Amendment. Helps us really spread that around. So as always, thanks you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.